Alrighty, guys, here we go. Another episode of the Stormer Show. Yeah, guys, it's gonna be probably Phoenix and Spiritfarer today. If you'd like to see Hearthstone, by all means, let me know in the comments. But I plan on playing off stream. I don't know, maybe I'll play on stream since it is 3-day weekend. I have more time. Alright. Yeah, hope you all are having a great President's Day weekend. I'm not planning on leaving the house today. I might take a walk. Let me check the weather. 51. So yeah, actually, it's not too bad. Not too cold. Maybe just take the short version. There's a road by my house. I can never remember the name of the road, but it's always super duper busy. I want to say Smoky Hill Road is the name of the road, but it's always like just jam packed with cars, like any time of day. All right, let's see. Here we go. Phoenix Wright, Ace Attorney. Okay, farewell, my turnabout. We finally made it to the trial. Finally. March 22nd, 9:47 a.m. District Court, Defendant Lobby number 3. Adrian did it? That's what it looks like. Dude, no way. That woman couldn't do anything like that. In court today, there will be a mountain of evidence that will implicate you. I'm gonna get my glasses on. Can I reach? Haha. A mountain of evidence? I'm certain there's someone out there trying very hard to pin this whole thing on you. Please, Mr. Lawyer, dude, like I said yesterday, I'm refreshing like a spring breeze, alright? Can't let any sort of scandal ruin that. I understand. Well, it's almost time. Oh, Mia. You must get a complete acquittal today. I know, but I can't focus on Maya's situation right now. Is she still kidnapped? I think so, or Pearl's either. No matter what, I have to focus on winning this case by the end of the day. Indeed. Well, let's get going. Is that the kidnapper? Tim. This is right. Good morning. This is it, Mr. Attorney, the day of the trial. Maya, she's unharmed, right? Well, when I checked on her earlier this morning, she seemed a bit, how shall we say, tired. Don't worry, people don't die that easily. Besides, what you really should be concentrating on is winning today's trial. For my sake as well as yours, you must win today's trial, which is why I sent you a little present this morning. Present? What in the world would you want to give to me? You'll figure it out once the trial starts, and even if you don't like my gift, I expect you to graciously accept it and win the day's contest, if you please. Wait! Kidnapper sent me a present? Mr. Lawyer, dude, who was that? I think it's your butler. No one, it has nothing to do with you, so forget you heard anything. Dude, did your nose just get longer? It definitely has something to do with it, dude. Phoenix is not known for telling lies and half-truths, so I don't know what the story was on that. Like, they want On Guard to be declared innocent. That's the condition for the kidnapper to return Maya, as we might recall. So, definitely has something to do with On Guard. And as I said, I believe it's the butler, but I can't be sure who it is yet. Court is now in session for the trial of Maya On Guard. Are the prosecution and defense ready? The defense is ready, Your Honor. But where's Edgeworth? Where is Von Karma? I say, Mr. Wright, what happened to Miss Von Karma? I don't know, Your Honor. Why are you getting mad at me? Was she kidnapped too? Your Honor. Please be quiet, bailiff. Court is in session. If you must tell me something, please keep it brief. Now then, what is it? Prosecutor Von Karma has... This morning, Miss Von Karma was shot by an unknown gunman. Oh, dang. What? Shot? Somehow I think this is the present that man was talking about. Oops, I'm giving me a Von Karma's voice. I think this is the present that I was talking about. Is present? Ms. Von Karma is one of the top prosecutors in the country at the moment. If you were to disappear, it would be to your advantage. Yeah, no kidding. So, this is totally insane. Ms. Von Karma, is she alright? I don't have that answer. She's alive and in stable condition. Was it Edgeworth? That's good. I thought he'd show up. Yeah, of course it's Edgeworth. Back in action. Your Honor, due to the circumstances, Miss Von Karma cannot appear in court today. I, Miles Edgeworth, will be taking her place. The prosecution is ready, naturally. It's like old times, Miles Edgeworth. It's like old times again. Miss Von Karma was shot in her right shoulder and is currently undergoing surgery. Oh, she'll live, definitely. Luckily, I've looked over this case and am familiar with the details. The prosecution seeks to prove the guilt of Mr. Matt Onigard. The court acknowledges the prosecution. Right. I finally found the answer I was struggling for on my long journey this past year. It's good to have you back. It's good to have you back, Edward. It's like Ace Attorney all over again. By the time this case comes to an end, you too will know the answer. Now then, the prosecution would like to call its first witness. Please bring Detective Gumshoe to the witness stand. Witness, your name and occupation. My name's Dick Gumshoe, sir. Brings back fond memories, sir. Back when we used to have trials together, sir. It was like... Just last year, sir. I'm a detective down at the precinct for now. For now? After this trial's over, I'm supposed to turn in my badge, sir. Detective Gumshoe. The prosecution has no need for a depressed witness. Lift your head up and face forward like the proud officer, Detective Dick Gumshoe. Yes, sir. Now, let's have your testimony. We want to explore the various facets of this case, so we must start with that. Get ready, Phoenix. This is going to be one very rough fight. Yeah. It would have to be with Edgeworth as my opponent, my old arch-rival. The answer he was struggling for. Interesting. Show me this answer you finally found, Edgeworth. Good to have him back. I was actually a little bit tired of Von Karma. Anyway, trying to give her a German accent. Bare facts of the case. The murder happened after the Hero of the Heroes Award ceremony, sir. The victim, Juan Corrida, was found dead in his hotel room. After looking into the cause of death, we believe he was definitely murdered, sir. At first, we thought there was something suspicious about the empty guitar case. However, we later found that the guitar case had nothing to do with the murder. Is that true? So why is it missing then? After the award ceremony ended, the victim alone was in his room. Yes, sir. Both the victim and defendant went alone to their rooms, sir. I see. Mr. Wright, you may begin your cross-examination. Alright. Bare facts of the case. Press it good. Murder happened after the award ceremony, sir. Hold it! Would you please give us a brief timeline of what happened after the ceremony? And I'm just glad there are no more whips. Gosh, that was annoying. like Von Karma's disappearance was a blessing in disguise, like, for sure. I don't even know how she was allowed to whip everybody like that. I don't know. Would you please give us a timeline of what happened after the ceremony? Okay, pal. Ceremony started at 6 p.m. Ended around 8 p.m. Then there was a short break. Special post-ceremony show was supposed to start in the lobby 30 minutes later. And that's when the victim's body was found, correct? Just to say, the murder occurred during that 30-minute break period. Please continue with your testimony, detective. Victim Juan Corrida was found dead in his hotel room. Hold it. The person who discovered the victim's body was Adrian Andrews, correct? Yeah. Who is this Adrian Andrews you're talking about? She's the defendant, Matt Onigard's manager. She's a real pretty lady, sir. So she's a pretty lady. I wonder if she will be gracing us with her presence. When the post-ceremony show was about to start, she went to get Mr. Onigard. After visiting his room, she went to the next victim's room to go for the show, sir. Let me try that again. After visiting his room, she next went to the victim's room to get him for the show, sir. I see, and that's when she found the victim's body. And it would be weird for her not to be called, seeing as how she's definitely a witness. No, she's definitely a witness, for sure. After looking into the cause of death, we believe he was definitely murdered, sir. The cause of death, wasn't that because Mr. Creed was stabbed in the chest? Only a careless amateur would believe something so brainless as that, pal. Take a good hard look at the crime photo. Now real pro's attention will be drawn here to this bandana. Banana. His bandana, sir. That's the thing wrapped tightly around his neck, sir. Ah yes, I see. His banana-scented bandana. It has nothing to do with bananas, Your Honor. What about the knife? He'd have been stuck in the victim's chest on purpose after his death. We have a very crafty murderer on our hands here. So that was like to throw us off. Strangle with a scarf, then stab with a knife. So post-mortem, I'm assuming, I don't know. But there's something suspicious about the empty guitar case. Hold it. Why do you think that? Because it was empty, pal. Someone got rid of the guitar. Jeff Ninja doesn't go anywhere without his bright red guitar. He couldn't find it anywhere at the scene of the crime. Oh, then how about this theory? Van really wanted the guitar and did the crime to get it. How's that? We thought of that too, but... What? We thought the fingerprints on the guitar case were the victims. Only the victims, huh? I see. So much for my theory then. Guitar case updated and correct. Empty, there's some water, but only on top of the lid. Bears Creed's fingerprints. Kind of forgetting. There is some water, but only on top of the lid. I don't know what the significance of that was. Maybe it got wet or something. I don't know. Maybe it was already open. Then found the guitar case had nothing to do with the murder. Hold it. How do you know that? What convinced you it had nothing to do with the case? The guitar wasn't at the Gaiwara Hotel that night. Well then, where was it? The guitar was eventually found at the TV studio. The victim, Juan Corrida, had apparently only taken the case with him, sir. So you mean he forgot to put the guitar inside the case? Yes, sir. Even when he was on stage for the ceremony, he didn't have his guitar. So that guitar case was empty even before he got to the hotel. Yeah, that's right. So really it had nothing to do with the case after all. I believe that's enough. First, the victim was choked to death with his bandana. Then after the victim was dead, the killer deliberately stabbed him with a knife. Which brings me to my next point. What about the knife? Were there fingerprints found on the knife? That would be good to know. Why then did the police arrest Matt and God? Because there was reason enough to suspect him. Here it comes. Looks like Edgeworth's back in full spring. Very well. Detective Gumshoe, please testify about this matter. Yes, sir. Why arrest on guard? Yeah, exactly. Test the knife for fingerprints, dude. Vanguard and Juan Corrida were huge rivals with each other. Each thought the other guy was in his way. It's more than enough in my book. As for evidence, there's the Jammin' Ninja's button. Jerked off of the ninja's costume was found in Mr. Engarde's Hakama. The defendant's fingerprints were also all over the knife. Oh, okay. The defendant bought the knife for the crime, which makes this a premeditated murder. Are those the only fingerprints that were found on the knife? So the defendant's fingerprints were found on the knife used in the stabbing. Sort of sticky on the handle, so the fingerprints came out pretty clearly, sir. Now, why would Engarde be going grabbing the murder weapon? I don't know. That doesn't seem very smart. Here's the victim's blood and Engarde's fingerprints, and the grip Gatewater is engraved. There's this button. That was found in the defendant's clothes, was it? And this button also covered in blood. Yes, we know the blood on it is the victim's blood, sir. What? Jammin' Ninja's button added to the court record was ripped off his costume, covered in Creed's blood found in Engarde's Hakama. All this points very clearly to the defendant, doesn't it? Yes, it most certainly does, Your Honor. Ready to give in yet, right? Find a hole in your argument somehow. You can press as hard as you like. Just hurry up with your usual pointless questions. Yeah, this is gonna be a tricky one. There aren't a lot of holes. There are buttons, but no holes. Engarde and Juan Corrida were huge rivals. But in terms of popularity, Mr. Enguarde won, did he not? Yeah. You know what's ironic, pal? Unc was always one step behind Mr. Enguarde and everything. This year it seemed like he'd finally caught up, ready for the big final showdown. Mr. Krita lost the Grand Prix in the end. That's too bad, he must have been pretty downhearted after losing. He just thought the other guy was in his way, that's motive enough in my book. Hold it. Wait just 1 second here. Mr. Enguarde was beating Mr. Krita in the popularity polls. Well yeah, I guess, but... Which means that in the defendant's eyes, the victim was not a rival at all. Exactly, he wouldn't have reason to murder him. Which means he had no motive to kill at all. Yes, I quite agree. Well, detective? If it's not, well... I guess if you put it that way, then yeah, the defendant would have had no motive. Objection! Detective, I'm beginning to see why you were fired. No, not you too, Mr. Edgeworth, sir. That's... I look forward to your pension negotiations. No! Not Gumshoe, no! No, detective, let's continue the testimony. No, not my poor pension too. Detective, if you value your money, I suggest you proceed. Yes, sir, we can talk about my pension later, sir. What about what I was saying? Hello, anyone? Wow. As for evidence, there's the Jam Ninja's button. Hold it. Do you have any proof that the button belonged to the victim? What do you mean, pal? Oh, let me put it this way. I'm asking you if you have any evidence to back up your claim that this button was ripped off the Jam Ninja's costume. Okay, you tell just by looking at it. The victim's blood is on it. Anyone could have smeared that blood on there afterward. Mr. Edgewood, help me, sir. Alright, I knew it had to be this piece of evidence. Now to reel this one in. Thread. Huh? The button was attached to the costume by thread, obviously. And that thread snapped when the button was torn off. If you match up the ends of the thread on the costume with the thread on the button, it's a perfect match. Yeah, that's it. A perfect match, pal. Work. That's Edgeworth for you. Never misses a beat. Tricked off the ninja costume was found on Guard Sakama. Hold it. When was this button found? Pretty soon after the body was found, we rounded up everyone we knew Mr. Krita. Then we did a search on them all. That's when we found the button. So it was almost immediately after the murder. Police didn't have the time to lollygag and play tricks, unlike some people. Hey, what is he trying to say about me here? Defendant's fingerprints were all over the knife. The defendant bought the knife for the crime, which makes this a premeditated... Oh, oops, I forgot. Be grateful. If the judge were more rash, he would already pound his gavel in closing. You're still in a world of trouble. Well, before you battle, you must find the weakness. Let's find the weakness in this testimony, no matter how small it may be. Okay, Phoenix? Made a mistake. Defendant's fingerprints, I believe, is where it was. How were the fingerprints arranged on the knife? What do you mean, pal? By examining the fingerprints, you can determine how the defendant held the knife. For example, did he hold it normally or overhand? Oh, is that what you meant? Well, I didn't actually think of that. I can't believe this bumbling of this department. Hopeless. Were you paying attention to the testimony right? The defendant's fingerprints were all over the knife. There's no way to determine how the knife was held at the moment of the murder. So is the defendant the owner of this knife then? The defendant bought the knife for the crime, which makes this a premeditated murder. Hold it. There's no way this was a premeditated murder, even if he bought the knife. Sorry, pal, this isn't some pocket knife. It doesn't fold, so it's not great for walking around with either. Well, this is not good. Prosecution can prove it was a premeditated murder. We're done for. Phoenix. Yes? There's something very interesting about what the detective said just now. Think carefully before it's too late. Button covered in victim's blood and a knife with Enguarde's fingerprints. Yeah, I gotta look at the evidence because it's asking me to object. Okay. He didn't buy it. That's the thing. He didn't buy it. It says Gatewater on the handle. He didn't buy it though. Objection! Wait a second. What? So the basis of your argument that this was a premeditated murder is simply that my client bought a knife beforehand. That's right, pal. The defendant did not buy this knife. Huh? Take a good look at the handle of this knife, and you'll see what I'm talking about. Oh? There's Gatewater seal set and handle. Gatewater? I think I've heard that name somewhere before. That's the name of the hotel, the Gatewater Hotel. Uh-oh. The murder knife was actually the property of the hotel, which means this murder was not premeditated. I mean, it could have still been premeditated technically, but... You know, it could have still been premeditated, but... We need to know more about the nature of the crime itself. That's very true. This is very big. What is it, Mr. Edgeworth? I'm sorry, but the defense is simply too careless. What? I think whether the crime was premeditated or not has already been determined. How so? I admit this knife is hotel property. There's no one currently on the police force that is dumb enough not to realize this. But I didn't... Oh, ugh. The question is, where did this knife come from? Why, that's obvious. It came from the victim, Mr. Creator's room. Sorry, Your Honor, but that is incorrect. It came probably from the kitchen area, I would imagine. The victim ate a last meal before he was murdered. With that being the case, I'd like to draw the court's attention to what is on top of the table. There's a knife and a fork on the table. Then, where in the world did this knife come from? Did it come from that plate? If it pleases the court, I would like for us to recall the room of the defendant, Mr. Matt-and-Guard. Especially what was on top of his table. There is something missing. Perhaps it is a single knife. We investigated the leftover dishes for fingerprints, and while we were investigating, we came to the conclusion that Mr. Matt-and-Guard's knife was missing. Mr. Engard had gone to the victim's room with the knife he had used during dinner. Why would he carry a knife on a visit? To kill, of course. With that, I believe the prosecution has proven this was a premeditated murder. Exactly, like it still could have been a premeditated murder, you just didn't have it before being at the hotel. Amazing, Mr. Edgeworth. Absolutely brilliant. A brilliantly clear deduction. Seems like Edgeworth had this plan from the very beginning. This must be one of those traps, and I just walked headlong into it. A murder weapon with fingerprints and a button from the victim's costume. There is quite a sizable amount of evidence here. I can safely say that any further deliberation is a waste of Your Honor's time. Although, I wouldn't mind if the defense were to present evidence not yet shown to the court. Evidence not yet shown? It means evidence that the court hasn't seen yet. In other words, new evidence. What does the defense have to say about this, Mr. Wright? Well, Phoenix. The judge is favoring the prosecution right now. If the answer was something wrong here, the gavel of his will be ringing out to the sound of our defeat. Mr. Wright, you have something important and necessary to present to this court. I believe I do, and I want to say it's that cup, but I'm not so sure. Give me a second, guys. I think we did pretty well so far. Alright, so we're... Yeah, it's the glass. That's what I thought, yeah. There's one piece of evidence that catches my attention. Something that this court has yet to see. Mr. Wright, I will say this one more time. I do not feel this trial needs to continue at all. However, I'm giving you one chance and only one. The judge is saying, right, is don't try pulling one of your usual bluffs here. If I mess this up, it's currents for all of us. Now present one and only one piece of evidence. Wow. What is this important evidence that you must show to the court? I had a funny feeling it was the glass, but no sign it's been drank. Like that. This is a wine glass, is it not? Please look at the photo of the crime scene one more time. The scene is a mess because of the victim's struggle against his assailant. The vase was broken, his makeup is all over the floor. These are all things that were at one point sitting on top of the dresser. Well, yes, I see your point. However, this glass that's sitting on top of the dresser is mysteriously untouched. The only thing that had not fallen over along with everything else is the wine glass. This piece of evidence is more than strange enough to warrant further consideration. I've been placed there after murder. Oh. If that's the case, then are there fingerprints on the glass? Well, what do you all have to say? Well, yes. It is a little peculiar. Yes, isn't it? I thought it was. You stop looking at me with those puppy dog eyes of yours now. Mr. Edgeworth. What is it, Your Honor? Your opinion. You don't need my opinion. Because there is no special meaning to that glass. What? It's safe to say that the glass was set there after the crime took place. Exactly. By the person who discovered the body, Adrian Andrews, for example. She could have easily been so shocked that she set the glass down without thinking. That does sound very plausible, Mr. Wright. Could Miss Andrews really have set that glass down without thinking? She's too smart for that. I can look for my proof later. For now, I should trust my instinctive point of certainty. You just might fall for it if you're thought-provoking enough. The defense would like to challenge the prosecution's theory. We'd like to see something that proves that Miss Andrews who set the cup on the table. You turn the situation on its head again, as usual. Mr. Edgeworth, do you have any proof to back up your claim? There's no way he has any, he's just bluffing. Unlike Mr. Wright, I never say anything unless I have the evidence to support it. What? You're not thinking hard enough today, Wright. Did you think this wine glass escaped my notice? Then, of course it has been thoroughly inspected for fingerprints. Fingerprints? There were only one set of fingerprints left on this wine glass. One, well, whose were they? They were not the victims nor the defendants, rather they were of Adrian Andrews. What? Wine glass updating the court record found next to the victim, bears Andrews' fingerprints. That is why I said that the person who had discovered the body had left it there. Are we done here, Mr. Wright? I can't believe I fell into another trap. Miss Andrews was probably holding the glass when she went to see Mr. Greta. Upon seeing his dead body, she was stunned and set the glass down on the dresser. What you just said makes a lot of sense. Tisk, tisk, tisk. Now do you see, right? You can't change any part of my scenarios. It explains everything all too well. I thought long and hard this past year about what it means to be a prosecutor. Here on out, I'll show you the answer I have come to discover. Wait a second, Mr. Edgeworth. I think the prosecution has provided enough evidence for me to enter my verdict. Unfortunately, I cannot allow you to pass judgment yet. The prosecution has yet another witness we'd like the court to hear from. Another witness? Yes. Bailiff, please bring in the next witness. What in the world is Mr. Edgeworth thinking? I don't know, Mia. I don't know. Now the witness, please state your name and occupation. Witness, your name and occupation, please. Tat. Gotcha. Oh, jeez. Wonder what happened to that calm composure he had earlier. Oh, Edgy boy, it's been, what, a year since we last met, hasn't it? You should be more happy to see me. I saw the report with her testimony, but who knew that under that helmet it was the Wicked Witch of the witness stand? I tell you, this time I know what I'm supposed to do. So today I'm going to tell you anything and everything. Even things that don't have to do with that terrible crime. Miss Witness, that terrible crime is all this court needs to know. Rat-tat-tat. Oof. Judge, I'm talking to him dear Edgy Wedgy right now. Oh jeez, don't interrupt us, Gramps. Yes, no. No, please, by all means interrupt her, please. Anyway, witness, your testimony, please. It's true what they say, that youth are hot-headed nowadays. Not that I mind at all, IG. Now then, what should I start with? Witness was on security detail at that hotel on the night of the murder. Is this correct, Miss Oldbag? It was a great job being able to see my dear Yuan. It's almost too much for my little heart to handle. You mean you were a fan of the victim? Like everyone's crazy over that on guard, saying he's cute in a fresh way or something like that. But not me, I wouldn't say anything so silly. After all, I have no interest in little children like him. I'm only interested in a real man, Juan Kurita. Those two were the same age. Anyway, as I was saying, I was pacing in front of his room that night. Very well, please tell the court what you witnessed on the night of the murder. Leave it to me, Echipu. Oh jeez. What you witnessed? Anyway, after the ceremony, I went to pace around in the hallway in front of his room. There was something I was interested in finding out, you know. Well, since I was on the job, I made sure to keep a good eye out the whole time. That's when someone showed up. It was the man coming out of poor Juan's room. He was on guard, man on guard. He was trying to sneak his way out of Juan's room. It gets worse and worse. See, it has to be him. He's the murderer. I see. Well, Mr. Wright, you may begin your cross-examination. What you witnessed. After the ceremony, I went to pace around the hallway in front of his room. Hold it. Miss Oldbag, what was your post on that night? The lobby. I was supposed to be helping set up the stage for the trifling show, but I refused to help, all of you know. It's for that lead-headed samurai show. I even took a few of the nails. Maybe it was a good thing the show didn't go on. Besides, that manager with the glasses seemed to be working hard at it without me, so I thought I'd take a break and spread my wings a little. That's when you noticed, that's when you went to hang around the victim's door. There's something I was interested in finding out, you know. Hold it. Something you were interested in, and just what was that? It's not some little thing I can just go around telling everyone, you know. It's top secret between me and Juan. And Echipu, of course. Mr. Edgeworth, what is this thing she was interested in? I have no idea. I despise gossip, Your Honor. Gossip? But should it prove relevant, you can always have it appended to her testimony later. Looks like she wouldn't force it right now. Did the witness stay in the vicinity of the victim's door the entire time? Since I was on the job, I made sure to keep a good eye out the whole time. And you never saw Andrews, though. Could you tell us the number of people who went in and out of Mr. Kurita's room? I have no idea. I wasn't born so I could count things for those who didn't pay attention in class. That's why ever since I turned 20, I quit keeping track of how old I really am. Yes, well, that would explain why your age was not included in the report. In any case, the witness then saw someone, correct? That's when someone showed up. It was a man coming out of poor Juan's room. Hold it. Who in the world was that? Not allowed to say. This sort of information is to be carefully guarded from the masses, sonny. The man that came out of Juan's room was too scared. I can't say his name out loud. I would give what I wouldn't give to have Francesca's whip right about now. Well, I guess I can tell you since he was such a bad boy anyway. He was on guard. Man on guard, he was trying to sneak his way out of Juan's room. Hold it. So my client, are you sure about that? Yesy. Really? Going Brat, when I say I saw someone, I saw that person. Why do we get a sense of deja vu? Maybe to avoid a repeat of last year, I should delve into this a bit further. The person's face, what was the person carrying, the person's clothes. I don't know. I want to say face. I believe it is face. Clothes. It is clothes, not face. Well, isn't that a fine how do you do? Please tell the court about the man's clothes in more detail. What a troublesome man you are, really, as if something like that matters. But it does. Now what was it? Oh yes, it was that thing. What thing? That gaudy thing he always is wearing, that racing jacket. He was wearing that at the detention center too. That thing's meant for nothing but seducing women out of their pantaloons. Men. Right. So, Mr. Wright. Was this testimony just now important or relevant in any way? It was very important, right? Very important. Oh, sheesh. I'm trying to figure this out, guys. Very important. Of course it was important, Your Honor. Objection! And perhaps you would like to point out what part of that testimony was important. Don't you see it, Edgeworth? Your Honor, I request what the witness said about the jacket be appended to her testimony. I don't quite see where you're going with this, but alright. Witness, please. Oh well, I don't like to badmouth anyone without reason, but if I must. He was wearing his flashy racing jacket. Honestly, it's all just for show. Are you sure the defendant was wearing a racing jacket? What do you think? It's not like I've seen him in anything other than that horrible thing. I'm sure he was wearing it. She's so sure of herself that it's to the point of self-absorption. She may not remember things or be mistaken here and there, so I don't think she's lying. That's bad for us, really bad. That's how the human mind is. It also has a tendency to jump off topic. She's strayed into a few interesting side topics this time too, hasn't she? That's what makes her a sweet old lady, right? That's because you're not the one who has to question her. I believe you present the button on this statement. Oh, because it said it's a Hakama, dude. Objection. Missile bag. What, don't say my name for no reason. Do you know what this is? Button number 2 on the Jam Ninja's costume. Now I know she's an obsessed fan. She's identified it in a single glance. Give it here, give it here. If you don't give it to me, I'll punish you with this. Rat-tat-tat. Oh, she's really a diehard fan to want a button covered in blood. This button was discovered on Mr. Enguarde's body during a full-body search. See? This button proves beyond a shadow of a doubt it was that rascal Enguarde. It was caught up in the pleats of his nickel samurai Hakama pants. See? Enguarde's the nickel samurai. Witness. Now, it may just be me, and I do have an active imagination, but just now, didn't you say that the defendant, Man Enguarde, was wearing his usual racing jacket? I'm so sorry. Sorry that you judge people based on what they wear. If I wore the trendiest dress, instead I'd put up with wearing this ridiculous-looking outfit, you'd agree this is hideous, right? I've got a tape recorder stuck inside my chest, let me tell you, it's heavy. Wish I would have switched to CDs long ago, but I'm keeping that dream alive for all the kids out there. I work hard to smell them based, don't you understand? Take a look in the mirror. Your clothes are about as interesting as a documentary on curling. You should take a tip from Edgipoo. Now take this. Rat-tat-tat. I tried, guys. I can't do the voice when I'm trying to read the words that fast. Now hold your tongue still for 1 second. So what you saw in actuality was not Mr. Enguarde, the man, but Mr. Enguarde, the nickel samurai. When you think about it, they're really one and the same anyway. Miss Olbeg, this is a very important point we're talking about. Edgipoo, do you think so too? Well, it might be something worth considering, because, again, anyone could wear the nickel samurai costume. Just say it's important and grieve me for a change. Witness, think carefully and try to remember as much as you can before you testify. Alright, if you insist. I should be the one signing, not you. Who I saw. And these episodes are long. Enguarde. Yes, now I remember. The nickel samurai, that's right, it was the nickel samurai that I saw. Yes, it would have been convenient for him to wear his costume during the murder. He had to go to the post-ceremony stage show right after the crime. So he must have worn that nickel samurai's costume when he was stabbing Port Juan. The strange thing is, it was his fingerprints that were on the knife, so that doesn't really jive, you know? How did they get fingerprints on the knife? Unless it was with the samurai costume, I don't know. Must have worn that nickel samurai costume when you stabbed me in Port Juan. I knew it. I knew you'd say he was inside that costume. What? Did you think there could have been someone else inside that costume? Don't be a bad little boy thinking such rude things. But the possibility does exist. Tongues today, I told you there's no way it was anyone else. How do you know that? Because I said so, and that's what I say is the truth. At least she's just as delightful as a witness as she was a year ago. Mr. Wright, you may cross-examine the witness. Who I saw, really, it was someone else in that costume. So, I remember... Hold it. Would you please get on with your testimony? Watch your language, young man. What sort of tone does that would take with an elder? My youthfulness isn't what it used to be, so you should forgive me for everything. If you keep on barking at me like that, I'll start singing at the top of my lungs. What? Striking figure by the sea, standing all alone. He's the Nickel Samurai. He's actually singing. Someone help my poor ears. Mr. Edgeworth, can you please do something about this racket? Witness, I'll give you a piece of gum later if you'll be good and stick to the facts. Okay. You promise, right? Right. I'll be sending the bill for the chewing gum to your office at a later date. What? Remind me to send you a thank you note later too, Edgeworth, you old chum. Old chum. Nickel Samurai, that's right. It was the Nickel Samurai that I saw. Be a little more careful with your testimony. Not too long ago, you said he was wearing his racing jacket, and now he's not. Not too long ago? Let me ask you this. When you were itty-bitty, what was your grand dream? What? What did you want to be when you grew up, whippersnapper? My dream, huh? Well, I wanted to be Judge Wagner, hero of the public's court. So what? See? Look where you are now. You're not Judge Wagner, are you? Are you? Well, what I said earlier. Who puts any weight into things like that? The now is everything. I can't be held responsible for the past. Since when did court become theatrics over testimonies? All that matters is that a man was inside that costume. Isn't that enough? But we don't know that was the case. It would have been convenient for him to wear the costume, hold it. Why would that be? That way no one could see his face, of course. There's no advantage for him that I could see. In fact, you would think the costume would make him stand out all the more. You're such an annoying child, you know that? You disagree with everything I say. Isn't that what you're always doing to me? I got it. Maybe it was more troublesome for him to change in and out of the costume. He had to go to that post-stage show right after the crime. Was there anyone else scheduled to appear at the post-ceremony show? All the contestants were supposed to go on stage in a friendly gesture. That included the Jammin' Ninja. Of course I included him. That's why On Guard came out of Dearwan's room. Didn't give it a second thought. I see. Anyway, he must have worn the Nickel Samurai costume when you stabbed in Court 1. Hold it. Let me ask you one last time. The person you saw, it really was the Nickel Samurai. Show his up. Haven't I been saying that from the very beginning? Gonna throw in the towel yet? You don't need to think too hard on this one. There's a contradiction in your testimony and it's sitting in plain sight. The question is what that contradiction means for us. I'd figure out what you're talking about first, but okay. See if I can figure this out on my own. Yeah, I'm sure those suicide reports are really going to come in handy. Adrian Andrews. On her fifth statement. Oh, fudge. I did not mean to do that. Yeah, my bad, guys. I hit the wrong button. So 1, 2, 3, 4. I believe it's her last statement. Present the knife. Please take a look at this. Yeah, so it's a knife. Big deal. You're trying to scare me with that. I'll have you know it won't work. No, that's not my intention at all. That's the knife that was used in the murder, correct? Your Honor, do you know why this piece of evidence is important to this case? You don't even have to ask. It's because the defendant's fingerprints are on it. Is that what you're driving at? That is exactly what I'm driving at. What are we driving at? Whose car are we driving? Mr. Enguarde was really in the Nickel Samurai costume at the time of the murder. And it's impossible for his fingerprints to have been left on this knife. I mean, that's not exactly impossible. Some of the fingerprints could have still been on the knife, even if someone were to have picked up the knife after the fact using a glove, a hand that was gloved. That's still completely possible. It's possible that the glove did not erase all the fingerprints on the knife. Actually, he would have wiped all the fingerprints off on this knife right off. Again, that's not true. That's right, the Nickel Samurai wears gloves, doesn't he? Objection! Probably took his gloves off before he began the stabbing. Why would he do that, though? Yeah. Why would he do something like that? To leave his prints on the murder weapon? There's no way he would do something like that. However, there is one possibility. Well, let's hear your possibility. It's very simple. The defendant went to the victim's room while in costume as the Nickel Samurai. At that time, the defendant held no intent to murder. He was probably just going to relax and talk with the victim about the stage show. Which is why he took his gloves off. Seems so confusing, dude. But the murder still did take place. It's well known that there was bad blood between the defendant and the victim. Yes, I've heard that before. He goes in there with the costume, he takes his gloves off, he stabs Kurita, he puts his costume back on, and like, it actually does not make sense. That's right, what do you have to say about Mr. Edgeworth's theory? Let me get this straight. Edgeworth's theory goes like this. When the defendant went to the victim's room, he had no intention of killing him. Now, up to this point, are there any problems with his theory? I mean, do I say there's a contradiction? Contradiction and knife. Saying. This theory contradicts something in an earlier testimony. What are you babbling about? Now, for argument's sake, let's suppose Mr. Enguarde was the killer. If that's the case, I think it's impossible for the killer to have gone to the victim's room without intent. This knife, this is used by Mr. Enguarde at dinner. Yes, we did establish that. Which means that if my client was in fact the killer, then he brought this knife with him when he went to visit Mr. Kurita. What? I think that we should be asking why more often. Like, why would he have done that? Why would he need to go to Kurita's hotel room for that matter? Is that something that Enguarde would do? I don't think it would. I don't think that would be something he would do. Then he brought his knife with him when he went to visit Mr. Kurita. I suppose. However, you just said it yourself. At that time, the defendant held no intent to murder. If that were true, then why would he bring a knife? He wouldn't, would he? The entire explanation seems strange. Like, again, why would Enguarde do any of this? Which means Mr. Edgeworth. Your theory is flawed from supposition 1. One more thing. If the murderer was wearing the costume at the time of the murder, then there should be glove marks left on the knife. Exactly. Some of the fingerprints would have erased probably from the glove. I don't know about glove marks, but which means the defendant's fingerprints shouldn't be all over it like bees on a hive. That brings me to my final point. This knife was planted by the rope killer to hide their identity and mislead us. Order, I say. Order in the court. Was this knife really planted by the killer? Why would the murderer do such a thing? To frame Matt Enguarde, dude. It's to frame my client, Mr. Matt Enguarde, of course. deferring objection. Aren't you forcing the interpretation just a little too hard on this one? Objection! We just established that the witness saw the Nico Samurai in costume. If that were true, then there shouldn't be a single fingerprint on this knife. Witness. Looks like I've made your life a tiny bit more difficult, huh, Ichipu? Witness, did you or did you not really see the Nico Samurai? At least at first I might have forgotten, but... Are you saying you mixed up Mr. Enguarde with the Nico Samurai, his character on TV? I mean, I can't really do anything about that now. Like, I was waiting around in front of their doors because, well, I wasn't waiting around for the Nico Samurai, that's for sure. You're supposed to be the security guard, though, like... He wasn't waiting for the Nico Samurai. Alright, then who were you waiting around for, then? That's top secret to anyone outside of security. I have a feeling that you were waiting for Mr. Lancrete. Am I correct, witness? What do you think? You're a sad amateur with a terrible case of nearsightedness. Amateur? Me? What am I an amateur of? Soulbag was waiting around in front of the victim's room. But it doesn't sound like she was waiting to catch a glimpse of Mr. Kurita. Maybe Phoenix. The old bag was waiting around for that person. That's who I think Mia's hinting at. It's certainly possible. Miss Oldbag. You were waiting around for this person to come to the victim's room, weren't you? Okay, it's gotta be not Celeste Impacts, because she was already dead at the time. Who's this person? This is Adrian Andrews, Mr. Enguarde's manager. But why would the defendant's manager be in the victim's room? It seems that this case is the latest rumor in circulation, Your Honor. Oh, this is, well, this... I see. The judge seems to be really into the article, if it could be called such a thing. This manager with the initials AA, are you saying it's Adrian Andrews? Without a doubt. The witness thought so as well. Looks like you found me out. Well, that's fine. I can throw away this whole sworn to confidentiality stuff then. Witness, what in the world are you... Watch out, Phoenix. I've got a bad feeling about this. Very bad feeling. Got some information. Some very secret information from a certain source. That's why I was doing my own little investigation. Secret, of course. But what for? Just for myself. Personal reasons and all that. Man, these episodes are too long, dude. Mr. Edgeworth, how will you proceed from here? They don't want to do this, however, I cannot simply let this point slide. I see. Very well, then. Witness, please testify about this secret information. Get ready. This is going to take the wind out of you youngins. Sure, we're all capable of handling this. Really, it's not like we're 10 years old. Secret information. I mean, this game would benefit greatly from voice acting. Jeez Louise, dude. That Enguarde is one evil man. He thought he could ruin poor Juan by causing a big scandal. So to do that, he sent his own manager getting close with Juan. And why would he do that? Why would he do that? I'm not condone such dirty tricks, so I took action. Oh, and this is top secret. You got that? Nobody else but you and me knows that yet, okay? The defendant sent his manager. What a distasteful topic for this court. Nobody's above gossip. Isn't there a saying, the truth isn't ever pleasant? I've heard that one before. Mr. Edgeworth, about this Adrian Andrews person. We've looked into this matter. Found that the truth the article proposes is in fact baseless gossip. Should this be true? This proves that the defendant did bear ill will towards the victim. So this means I have to smash this rumor once and for all. Now then, Mr. Wright, you may cross-examine the witness. Be careful. The old bag seems rather excited right now. That's right. Enguarde's nothing but average foul-blooded youth. As the old saying goes, you've got to burn old bags with fire. I don't think anyone says that. Time to fire up the afterburners and hit the highway to the danger zone. I guess. Yeah, but it says that. Secret information. You gotta burn old bags with fire. So long, dude. Like, it's so much dialogue, dude. Can you show me proof that Ungard didn't bear any ill will towards Juan? I'm not going to let you push me around that easily. There's many men who've said those exact words and paid dearly for them. Maybe you should brace yourself this time. Here's my proof that Mr. Ungard did not hold any ill will towards the victim. Fudge and crack, like, it's so long, dude. I might have pressed too soon, too. What are you handing it to me for? Speaking of that jagged-headed baboon boy, message for me, please. Tell him that no matter what he does, the only thing he's good at is failing. What she said, right? Or should I say, baboon boy? I agree, this is a much piece of evidence, baboon boy. That's wrong. Ugh. What, I'm a busy woman. Tea time with kids is over. Seeking information that no one else knows yet. That's true, then how do you know the secret information? Well, that's because I'm a pro. Yes, that's it. It's a secret. Even you drilled a hole into my brain. You'll never find out. How in the world did that old bag get such a secret piece of information? Press further or present evidence? No one else is supposed to know the secret information, correct? If that's true, then why did you know it, Miss Oldbag? Why are you looking at me like that? Stop that. Witness. I'd say it, but this is how you came to acquire your secret info, isn't it? The investigative photographer, a lot of heart. Yes, I remember that mischievous girl. Like, I could just get tired of talking. She reported that she had lost a certain note she had written to herself. She reported such a thing. That piece of paper, she had written down some of her outrageous or impressions about the relationship between the victim and Miss Andrews. What? Outrageous ideas, you say? No, I said impressions. Then everything written on this piece of paper is completely meaningless. That's it, that's the note. Now you see, this is something completely different. This is my top secret list of groceries to buy. What? You were the one who took Mrs. Hart's note. I'm a huge fan of wands, that's why. And of Miss Puffy-Haired Whippersnapper. She's working that evil Ungard. She said so herself. Ungard, I'm his sidekick. She was so happy, smiling like a silly duck. I was only checking what she had written. What? Edgy Poo, you believe me, don't you? I was only trying to help out like the angel I am. It's only one little piece of paper. Never taken anything else before. It really should come with a supply of cheese to match your vintage wine. There's only a piece of paper. I suppose we can overlook this just once. Looks like she's really sorry. Should I forgive her? Pile on more pressure or forgive her? I guess, dude. Is it the guitar too, dude? Just hold back. That note with the camera inside its case, wasn't it? Camera yesterday. Lotta Hart was raising a stink over the camera. She kept saying something like, "My sweetie, $1,600 appeared." Why witness? What is it, Gramps? Give the note, then it's only logical you have the camera. Girl, looks like you found me again. This is the camera you're looking for. Why would you freaking take stuff from the crime scene, dude? Why would you do that, old bag? Check this camera's photos. Hurry. Let's examine them at once. Well, Mr. Edgeworth, what do we have? There's only one photo that seems to be relevant to this case. Please present it to the court. This is the Nickel Samurai. I told you, that's the guy that I saw. This proves the witness was not lying earlier about this matter. While this photo added to the court record. What does this all mean, Mr. Edgeworth? Photo by itself does not prove that the person is the defendant. However, in his own confession, Mr. Engelhardt clearly stated that at the time of the murder, he was still in his Nickel Samurai costume. If that's the case, then this Nickel Samurai is the defendant. How did it come to this? I think this brings us to the end. We have examined every piece of evidence thoroughly. Comments Mr. Wright, the court will consider before we close. You agreed that this photo is decisive evidence against your client. If this photo is really decisive, then we're done for. But if I raise an objection here and blow it, then I'll put my life in jeopardy. Can't make a mistake here. There's only one road out of this mess. This photo that Lotta took, there's something strange with it. Something strange with the photo. News was coming right. Your thoughts, Mr. Edgeworth? I think we can all agree there's nothing strange with this photo. There's no way for the defense to debunk this photo. With the bunker buster. What? Debunk with a bunker buster? Is that what you're planning to, Mr. Wright? Such strange dialogue, too. Please look at the photo an additional time. Really believe you can find something wrong with this photo, then you should only need one chance, correct? And to find something wrong with this photo, I can't let the chance go by. Where in the heck did she take this photo from anyway? Clearly the hallway, Mr. Wright. I don't know where else she could have taken it from. She couldn't have taken it from the hotel room. That's obvious. It's all out of focus. Why can't she take a good shot, especially when it counts? Hear your objection. I'd like to direct the court's attention to this area right here. What do you point to? His ankles? You could see this person's ankles, that would be one thing. However, you can't. And what does this mean? The costume person in this photo could not have been Mr. Engelhardt. What is the meaning of this? Objection! I wonder if you'd care to elaborate, with actual facts, that is. Let's take a look at the Nickel Samurai's poster. Please pay particular attention to the area around the bottom of the Hikama. Looks like he's wearing socks. You can see his socks. Exactly, however, in this photo, Nickel Samurai is clearly holding his Hikama just up, just to walk. There's only one explanation for this. The person inside this costume is clearly much shorter than the defendant. Yeah, that actually makes sense. I think I've turned things around for myself this time. That's curious, huh? What is? Edgeworth is unusually calm today. That's true. Just letting the trial run itself, as if he's only along for the ride. Along for the ride or along for the ride? Beat to the 10. What do you mean by that? I only guess that perhaps he doesn't feel under attack at all. If he doesn't feel under attack, then I haven't damaged the case. Where does this leave us? The person in this photo is not a man on guard. Everything the prosecution has tried to prove has become meaningless. I figured it would come to this. What? Right, I have something I want to ask you. I think you've proven that this person inside this costume is not a man on guard. In that case, who is this a photo of? Who's the person wearing the Nickel Samurai costume? Don't stress out over this phoenix, it's very simple. What you should be focused on is Edgeworth's attitude, don't you think? Why is he so calm? Let's hear your thoughts. Who's the person in this photograph? Adrian Andrews, bro. Yeah. Gosh dang, dude. It's so long, these episodes. Adrian Andrews? You want to know who that Nickel Samurai is? None other than this woman. Why would you say it must be Miss Andrews? What in the world points you to her? For starters, she's short. She would have been the only other person in there at that time. She can freely move in and out of Miss Trencard's room. Finally, she had dinner with Miss Trencard that night. How does that all add up? It means that it makes it very easy for her to get a certain item. A certain knife with Mr. Trencard's fingerprints all over it. The knife that was used as a murder weapon. Why don't you just say what it is you want, right? I should do this now. This is my last chance to turn things around. Defense moves to indict Miss Andrews in the murder of Juan Crudo. It was Miss Andrews who tried to frame the defendant for the crime. Order, order, order! Looks like this trial has had a most unexpected development. Mr. Edgeworth. Yes, Your Honor? The court is issuing a subpoena for Mr. Adrian Andrews. The verdict cannot be passed without first hearing her testimony. Alright, this is it. This is kind of bad for us. What do you mean? Adrian Andrews is summoned to court as a witness. It means that the trial will go on for another day. One more day? Heck. If I don't get a verdict today, then Now then, we shall set Miss Andrews' testimony for tomorrow. What am I supposed to do? The judge is about to adjourn the court. I guess. Raise an objection. Objection! Please, Your Honor. Continue the trial. You must pass a verdict today. I do that. Not hear Miss Andrews' testimony if she's not. Is she actually already there? I'm poor wasting such valuable time. Edgeworth? Edgeworth? Your Honor, I request that you please continue with today's trial. What? Not continue due to this unexpected development. Tisk tisk. Unexpected development? I think you underestimate me, Your Honor. What do you mean by that? Mr. Phoenix Wright would have slaved away to subpoena Miss Andrews' is all happening according to plan, even if Wright was a bit slow to catch on. What? Thank you, Judge. I feel like this is balanced out in actual trials because different people take turns talking. Like, it's not one person talking throughout the entire trial. Because that would be ridiculous. And in this game, it's like there's no voice acting, so it doesn't have the chance to have that give and take of conversation. Like, in an actual court of law, it plays out like a conversation. Like, the defense attorney asks the witness questions, that he cross-examines the witness, prosecutor conferences in the court with the defense attorney, try to uncover the facts of the case. Like, it's, as you see it in the game, like, it's plays out like a conversation. Like, it's not like one person talking the entire time. I think that's the reason why it's so tedious in the game, because like I'm the only person reading through all these parts, and it's like. But I hope you guys have enjoyed. Please remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe. I'll be back with more Spiritfarer, so stay tuned. Thank you so much for watching.